Can't wait to review this movie. So what's up, my Century Galaxy? It's the Century Man here. So this is my review of The Escape Plan. This movie stars Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie was released in October of 2013. Originally, this movie was set to release in April of that year. Unfortunately, they pushed it back. I don't know why they pushed it back. They pushed it back into the autumn of that year. I don't know. I'm trying to find the research why they pushed it back. Maybe it's just a movie thing. It's not like right now. Like movies was originally set in 2020, but they pushed it back maybe for this year and also for next year. It's just what it is. So yeah, it was originally set to release in April of 2013. Unfortunately, they pushed it back until the autumn of that year. I think it was released in October of 2013. I think it was maybe September. I think September. I think that's the American release date. I think our release date must be in October, probably like the mid-October. I think. Not 100% sure. Like I said, it stars Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is the first movie, and I think it's the first and only movie they as co-stars. Yeah, they kind of like they were in the Expendables, movies in the 2 and also 3 movies of the Expendables between 1 and 3. Unfortunately, Arnold was kind of like lost in the pack because there's too many like co-stars in that movie. You got Stallone, Jason Statham, Don Lundgren, Jet Li, Randy Couture, Bruce Willis. The list goes on and on and on. I don't want to get into it. If I review Expendables movies, I will do in the future, but yeah, Arnold was kind of lost in the pack because the first movie was there as a cameo because at the time he was still the governor of California. Second movie, he was kind of meh. He was kind of there for a cup of coffee. And the third movie, I think he had a little bit in the third movie, but yeah, he was kind of like lost in the pack. In this movie, he's got more the share of the screen time with Sly, and I think they had good chemistry. This movie received mixed bag reviews, but I watched it. I didn't really saw it in the cinemas at the time. I saw the trailer, but I never got a chance to see it. But I think I saw it again a couple years later. I don't know what year. And I just saw it not too long ago on Netflix, and it was a good movie. Wasn't a fantastic movie, but it was a mixed bag reviews of critics. But I think it was more leaning towards positive than negatives. It set up like 2 sequels. I don't want to get into the sequels. I'll mention the sequels a bit later on in this review, but the sequels they're not on the same level as the first movie. I think I think the budget was about $50 million. They made about 137 million. I think that was the US gross charts. I think they made 54 million worldwide. Anyway, so let's talk about the cast of this movie. I think the reason why they got like a mixed review, I think there's too many like casts. They were kind of there, but they didn't make an impact in this film. You got like like I said, you got Sylvester Stallone as Ray Breslin. I think that's his name. He's a businessman. He always gets sent to jail. He is finding a way to get out of that jail. That was his character. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger as Emmy Rottweiler, or Meinheim. I think that is his code name. Because in the scene with him and Sly, he even brings up, I think they did a reference to Robin Hood, and Arnie says, I'm not going to do the impressions, he said like, he brings up Meinheim, he's like, do you know him, or do you familiar of him? Let me think. Not really. Anyway, they had a brief fight scene between Arnie and Sly because Arnie, he's kind of like the crazy guy in this film. I like the Rottweiler, I call him Rottweiler, but is it Rottweiler? I think it was Rottweiler. Anyway, Sly says, give me a favor, and Arnold says, okay. He kind of punches Sly in the face, and Sly says, that's a favor, and Arnie says, sometimes feeling favors hurts. because Arnold is famous for the one-liners. Yeah, slices. Like I said, you know, that's a favor, and Arnie says, sometimes favors hurts. It had up the fights, and also you got Jim Caviezel as Hobbs. He's kind of like the warden of this prison, and also he got someone like sabotage Braslin's plans to get arrested. They went to New Orleans, Louisiana. I think he's gonna sent. I think he was about to get sent to their local prison. Unfortunately, someone kidnapped him, sent to a proper prison, and that was the concept is. And I've done my research. The original title for this movie was possibly The Tomb. Unfortunately, they changed plans to Escape Plan. I don't know which one's gonna be way better, The Tomb or the Escape Plan. It's one or the other. So yeah, Jim Caviezel as the warden Hobbs. He was fine in this movie. He was the main villain of this film. He plays this not cold blood, but he's kind of like this cold hearted person. I think that's Warden's jobs to do. They're cold hearted. Really don't give a shit about the prisoners. I think he did his job damn well. Playing this that cold blooded person. You got Vinnie Jones as Drake. What was his name? Drake. He's kind of like a Hobbs' right-hand man. He's kind of like a prison guard. He was okay. This is the problem with this. The cast, I think they don't. They're trying to cram a lot of big name stars in this film. They don't really need. He was fine. Vinnie Jones is Vinnie Jones, but I don't think you need him. The fight with Sly was okay, it was good. He got fall down the stairs, broke his neck. He's going to die anyway. He's the baddie. I think Vinnie Jones always plays the role as the villain damn well. I see a lot of Vinnie Jones movies as the villain. So you got you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jim Caviezel, Vinnie Jones. You got Vincent what's his name? De Navario, if that's his name. He's from Law and Order. He plays like the main villain of the first Men in Black film, and also he plays Kingpin in Daredevil in 2015. Plays Wilson Fisk. Vincent, what was it? Del Onofrio? D'Onofrio, D'Onofrio, if that's his name. Sorry about his, can't pronounce his surname that well. He plays, what's his name, Les Clark. He's the one kind of set up he kind of set up Breslin, set him up, planned for him get into the tomb. That's the name of the prison, the tomb. He kind of, set him up. He didn't set him up, he kind of like planned the whole idea, mastermind why he's, Sly's character was in this fucking prison. He was okay. He was fine. He wasn't like the main catalyst. He was kind of like there. Anyway, you had 50 Cent as Hush. I think that's his name. Hush. And it's really funny. He's there in the sequels. I don't know about the sequels. Haven't saw the sequels of the Escape Plan. He was kind of there. I think that's why it didn't really do well. It did okay. It did great. It was an okay movie, but it didn't like. It's not gonna be like a super blockbuster film. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, Amy Ryan as Abigail. She's kind of like the friend of Breslin. And you got what's it called? What's his name? I'm gonna butcher this dude's name. Farhan Tahir. He plays Javid. He plays Raza in in the first Iron Man movie. The movie in 2008 kicked off the MCU. He's kind of the leader of the Ten Rings. He plays Javid. The funny part in this movie was Arnold and Javid. Tahir's character. You got Arnold. I kind of laughed at that one-liner. Arnold confronts him. He said, "I remember you. You need back off. I remember your mom. Not mom, but I say I remember your mother. Your mother's my favorite whore in Marrakesh. Man, she polished the helmet," and I kind of laughed. And the fight scene when basically Arnold kind of pissed off Javid, and that was good. The fight scenes were good choreographed. Yeah, people think it's, I think people think it's mediocre. I don't think it was mediocre. I think it was building up something. It was okay. It wasn't fantastic from the get go. It's just kind of building the story up, going into the prison scene. I think like they got some good chemistry. There's one scene with the camera, and you basically had a slice say smudge say cheese, and the smile. You had basically Javid give basically Hobbs and the other security guards the middle finger. Arnie smile holding the gun. Arnold, Arnold Rottmeyer. Keep calling him Rottweiler, the dog, but Rottmeyer. Rottmeyer, he grabs like the fucking machine gun, shooting the fucking police of not police officers, but the security guards in the prison. That was good to see. That was bad. That was fucking badass. You know, you could tell. Very. I think this movie was underrated. I think people are gonna take this film seriously back then. Oh, it was not that good, but It's not. Not that great, but I think it's more like a popcorn entertainment film. It's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be like, oh, it's going to get 5 stars. It's not. I think it's more like a 3-star film, maybe 4.5. But I think it's more leaning towards a 3-star film. It was a decent film, but not a fantastic film. Because of the crown too many stars like Amy Ryan, done my research. I think she was a not was a was it Academy Award nominee. She was nominated for a Golden Globe. I don't know what movie. Not familiar of her work. This movie was directed by a Swedish director called Mikael Ahlström. And that was his name. I think his most notable work is called a film called The Evil that was released in 2003, or I think it was somewhere in the 2000s. Yeah, not familiar with his work. I think he did a fine job directing this movie. I don't think he directed the sequels. I think that was a different actor, a different director. Anyway, so yeah, the motive for Arnie and Sly's character is busting out that prison. It's an impossible prison. There's some scenes like the prison guards basically beating the fuck out of Sly's character. Breaking down mentally and physically. And also they know who they are because Sly's Ray Brosnan's really his code name. He's trying to enter this prison as what's his name? Anthony Portas, but they know him that is Ray Brosnan. They got like his book. They know their plan. They escape when Sly they're in this isolation cell with the lights. It's really the fucking Swan. Sly basically managed to get out and check if he found a way out. Unfortunately, the prison. This is one good twist of the story. The prison is on the top of the island. It was on a ship in the middle of the ocean. That was making it so impossible Sly to get out of the prison. Yeah. So and also yeah. Like I said, Jim Caviezel's performance as a Hobbs, he did okay. He's the main villain. He's not like, oh, he's gonna kill. He did kill someone. He's cold blooded. He's like playing the role like what a warden would do. Warden's not supposed to be caring about the prisoners. He's just like being cold blooded and don't give a fuck, and he did. There's one scene like he tortured Arnold's character, Rottmeyer, with some of the guards kind of put like the fucking hose down his throat and torture him because Arnold basically playing playing mind games. It's like, I can draw a map. I'm not that talented. And also, yeah, he played that character damn well. He plays a little bit crazy, maybe that Rottmeyer character. He is smarter, but sometimes he can be a crazy guy. Also, he's speaking in German, distracting Hobbs' character, speaking in German, calling him a swiney, you're a devil. I like it, I kind of like, Arnie's performance, they just done that well. They did their roles pretty damn well. Yeah, the fight scenes were good. Yeah, Javid's character got killed off, Yeah, he got badly. He was not fatally wounded, but he got wounded in the stomach area or the hip area. He did okay. Tamir, what's it called? Farhan Tahir. He grabs a gun, shooting, like holding two guns in both hands, shooting. Yeah, he got shot. He got fatally wounded. He got shot multiple times, and then he said about something about God in say God in Arabic. I can't remember. I don't really speak Arabic, and then whatever. Yeah, he said whatever. He shot him in the head. Got him. You got him. The villain after kill somebody. Yeah, he got his comeuppance. Hobbs' character. He shot Arnie in the shoulder, and he's trying to shoot down the ladder in the helicopter. And he had Sly with that one catchphrase, not catchphrase, but one liner that says "boom." Shot the fucking. There was cans of oil. Shot the oil, and the fucking boat exploded. So yeah, so people say it's cheap. I don't think it was cheesy. But I think like I said, they did well. They did like decent amount of money. I don't think it's expecting to be like a blockbuster film. I think it's very. I think it's better. I think it's more like a movie you probably see on DVD. But I don't know how much money they make in DVD sales. That's yeah. I have to find out. But I've done also researched that the original cast of Ray Breslin. It was originally supposed to be Bruce Willis was supposed to be the original part playing the role as Ray Breslin. Unfortunately, I think he maybe declined. I don't know. Maybe he was doing a different movie at the time. I think he was doing a film, doing that Die Hard movie in 2013. Never got a chance to see it. So I think maybe it could work because yeah, Bruce Willis was another big action star in those 80s and 90s. But I think people want to see Sly and Arnie because they never got that movie together. Instead of the Expendables films, but like a 4 long share screen time film. I think they passed with flying colors. Yeah, the movie didn't do great, but I think they did good. Was it Vince D'Onofrio's character? Les Clark's character who set him up. He was. You had 50 Cent's character. He says, what was it? Was it Sleep Motherfucker? He kind of smothered Les Clark's character. Les Clark with the chloroform. He was inside his metal container. Inside the car in the metal container, it's like fuck, Ray. I think it was maybe in the same. I think it must be in the same prison as the Tomb. Maybe, I don't know. So he got his comeuppance. Yeah, and also you got this woman called Miller. I don't know I can't remember her first name. You got this woman who's now Rottmeier's daughter, who's working with Ray in his business firm. I don't know what business firm it is. And also, they give Slides more character development. He's not just, he's a guy breaking out in jails. He used to be a former lawyer. He said about promising, someone for 3 years, when he was in jail. I don't know. So that was just what it is, Yeah, the sequels, they did 2 sequels, one in 2017 and one in 2019. Arnold did not appeared in those sequels. You got Batista in those sequels. I don't know about the sequels. The second one and the third one. I don't think they did well. Because sometimes with sequels, they're never the same as the first one. When I saw the picture of the sequel, the second movie, and then the third movie, I said to myself, they don't really need to do a movie. I think it's very pointless to do a sequel because it'd be the same thing. They're gonna rehash what they're gonna do in the first movie. They don't need that. I think they told a good story. I think their story arc is done. You don't need to do another sequel. I think it's very pointless. Look up what's that movie is called? Fortress. They did a sequel way back. I think it will be 8 years later. I think the first movie was about 92, 93. They did the movie in 2000, 2001. Didn't do well because it was just rehashing from the first movie. Sometimes, like I said, sequels never turn out to be good as the first. So yeah, Rating this movie, if I give it 3 stars, and on the scale to 1 to 10, I'll give my rating for Escape Plan 7 out of 10. So that's my review of Escape Plan. It's yeah, underrated. Yeah, it's not gonna be. Yeah, I like prison movies. Yeah, it's not gonna be on the same level as was it Escape at Alcatraz? That was the Clint Eastwood movie, or the Shawshank Redemption. That was it got Ted was it Ted Robbins, Morgan Freeman, Clancy Brown. I don't know. I think you put it in the top. It's kind of like a mid card. This is called like a mid card prison movie. So yeah. Hope you enjoy my review of the Escape Plan. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash the like button and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Yeah, this is good to see me reviewing a non-Marvel movie, because the last few months I've been reviewing movies of the MCU. I think the last non-Marvel movie I reviewed was, Guest House Paradisco. That was last summer. The Bottom movie from 1999, 2000. Stars with Rick Mayo and was it Adrian Edmondson? I think, yeah, that I didn't do. I had plans to take a break off reviewing Marvel really movies back last summer, and then when I started reviewing the Marvel movies, I said to myself, let's review a non-Marvel movie once, freshen up a little bit. So I watched Escape Plan, good, an enjoyable, fun movie, and maybe I'll review more future non-Marvel movies in the future. So.